My stepdaughter called me, just a common cleaner, and said her real dad makes more than me. My fiancé stayed silent, so I took back everything I gave them and walked away. Now they want to reconnect, but I've moved on. Hello Reddit I+ here. My name is Elijah Matthews. I'm 42, and not long ago I walked away from the life I thought I was building. I was engaged to a woman named Monica. We were together for 4 years. I helped raise her teenage daughter Talia like she was my own. I paid for everything: apartment rent, groceries, her school fees, even bought them a car. I gave them stability when they had none. I own a small commercial cleaning company. I started it a decade ago after being laid off. I didn't have much, just a mop, a van, and a will to make something out of nothing. Slowly, I built a loyal client base: offices, schools, medical centers. It's honest work. I make good money now, not rich, but more than enough to live comfortably. I had pride in that. When I first met Monica, she praised me, told me I was different, said I was reliable, grounded, a man her daughter could look up to. Back then, she had just finalized her divorce and was struggling, living with her sister. No real financial stability. I stepped in, not to play savior, but because I cared. Little did I know I was just a placeholder. The moment it all came crashing down wasn't even dramatic. At least, not at first. It was a quiet Thursday dinner. I had cooked like I always did. Chicken Alfredo, Talia's favorite. She was 17, entitled, and quick with sarcasm, but I tried to be patient. That night, she started whining about her phone being outdated. She had the Android I'd bought her last Christmas. Nothing fancy, but functional. She rolled her eyes and said, "If my real dad was around, I'd have the new iPhone already. He actually makes money. Not like you. You're just a cleaner." The words hit like cold water. I turned to Monica, waiting for her to say something. A correction, a defense, anything, but she didn't even lift her head. "She's just being a teenager," she mumbled. That was it. 4 years, rent, cars, food, bills, love, reduced to just a cleaner. And the woman I was going to marry didn't even blink. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I just nodded, stood up from the table, and started preparing for the quietest exit of my life. Within a week, I'd taken everything back. The car, in my name, repossessed it while they were at the grocery store. The apartment, I paid the lease in full and canceled it, also in my name. The credit cards they were using, canceled. The utilities, shut down. And me, gone. No warning, no farewell. I let them experience the silence they'd given me that night. For the first few days, my phone exploded with messages. Monica begged me to come back, accused me of abandoning the family. Talia left me a voicemail saying, "You'll regret this. My real dad would never do this." But I felt nothing. What did they expect? That I'd keep financing their comfort while they spat in my face? They weren't hurt that I left. They were hurt that the benefits left with me. Months passed. I focused on myself, got therapy, took a vacation alone for the first time in years. I went back to working with my crew on site, reconnecting with the very thing that helped me build myself from the ground up. Then I met someone. Her name is Camille. She's a graphic designer, freelance, no kids, no exes in the background demanding anything. Just her, building her life on her own terms. We met at a networking event. We clicked, no expectations, no instant love story, just slow, real connection. What drew me to Camille wasn't beauty or charm, though she had both. It was respect. She didn't care what I did for a living, only how I carried myself. She didn't see me as a provider or a stepping stone. She saw me as a man, a partner, a human being. We're still taking things slow. Dinners, walks, deep conversations. No moving in, no blending lives too quickly. Just honesty, one layer at a time. Then Monica came back. She showed up outside my office building, eyes puffy, makeup smeared, holding a letter. "Elijah," she said, voice trembling. "I'm sorry. Everything's gone. The car was repossessed. We're behind on rent. Talia's dropped out of school. I don't know what to do." I stood still. She handed me the letter. It was from a collections agency. Apparently, she'd opened credit lines in her name, trying to sustain the lifestyle I left behind. She looked at me like I was supposed to swoop in and fix it. "I thought you loved us," she said quietly. "I did," I replied. "But you loved what I gave, not who I was." She blinked. "You've changed." "No," I said. "I just finally realized my worth." That night, I had dinner with Camille again. Just the two of us. We talked about music, favorite books, and plans for the future. No drama, no chaos. And in that moment, I realized I didn't lose a family. I walked away from a performance. They called me just a cleaner, but I wiped away the mess they left behind and started living again. For a while after Monica showed up at my office, things went quiet again. I figured she finally got the message. But people like her don't give up easily. Not when they've lost the man who kept their lives running like clockwork. 2 weeks later, the calls started coming. Not from her, from my family. First, it was my younger sister, Denise. "Elijah," she said. "I ran into Monica. She came by the house crying. She's worried about Talia. Apparently the girl's not doing well in school. She's depressed, acting out. I know she hurt you, but maybe talk to her?" I stayed silent for a moment, then asked, "Did she tell you what really happened?" Denise hesitated. "She said it was a misunderstanding, that you overreacted." I laughed, coldly. "So her daughter disrespected me to my face. She stayed silent. I took back what I paid for, and somehow I'm the villain?" "Elijah." "No, Denise. She didn't want a partner. She wanted a paycheck with a pulse." Click. Then it was my mother. She called one evening out of the blue. We hadn't spoken in weeks. "Elijah, baby," she said in her softest voice. "Monica came by church. I didn't know what happened, but she looked so broken. She's good at looking broken," I said flatly. "Don't be like that. She said you left without explaining. Talia's been missing school, and Monica's struggling." I clenched my jaw. "And did she also mention that Talia called me just a cleaner, while Monica said nothing? That I paid for everything, every meal, every bill, every damn thing? And the minute I stopped, they remembered my job title but forgot my sacrifices?" "She made mistakes, Elijah," my mom said. "But forgiveness is—" I cut her off. "Forgiveness doesn't mean foolishness. And if you're only calling because she went to you, maybe ask yourself why she didn't care enough when I was in the picture." There was a pause. "I'm not going back, Ma." The next part? That one took the cake. A man named Jerome, Monica's cousin, showed up at my business, unannounced, uninvited. He walked into my office like he owned the place, sat across from me, and said, "You know, a real man doesn't abandon a family over words." I raised an eyebrow. "A real woman doesn't sit silent while her daughter disrespects the man paying her rent." He chuckled, leaning back in the chair. "Talia's a teenager. You're the adult. You're really gonna walk away over one comment?" "One comment?" I stood up slowly. "Let me ask you something, Jerome. If your woman let her daughter call you a broke nobody, said her real dad was better, and your woman stayed quiet, would you sleep next to her that night?" He said nothing. I continued. "You think this is about pride? It's not. It's about dignity. I loved Monica. I treated Talia like my own. They didn't just disrespect me. They made it clear I was only useful as long as I provided. And the moment I stopped, they called me names." He stood, scoffing. "Man, you cold." "No," I said, holding the door open. "I'm finally warm, because I cut off the people who froze me out the moment I stopped giving." Days turned into weeks. Monica tried one last trick. She sent Talia to my place. I got home from work, and there she was, sitting on my porch, hoodie on, eyes puffy. "Elijah," she said, "I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't mean it. I didn't say anything. I was just mad that day. My dad promised me a phone, then ghosted me again. I took it out on you." "You didn't just say it, Talia," I finally replied. "You meant it. And what hurt more was your mom said nothing." She looked down. "She said you were just being sensitive." I nodded. "That was her story. And now? She's using you to do her bidding." "No, she doesn't even know I'm here," she mumbled. That stopped me for a second. But then she added, I miss how things were. You were the only stable guy in my life." I sighed. "Talia, I hope you find your way. I really do. But I can't be the one to carry you or your mother anymore. I gave everything I had, and it still wasn't enough. I can't pour from an empty cup." And with that, I walked inside. I haven't seen either of them since. Camille and I are still taking things slow. She knows about my past, but doesn't treat me like a man defined by what he went through. She respects the boundaries I've drawn. The old me would have let guilt pull me back into toxic cycles, but the new me, he understands something powerful. Sometimes the people who cry the loudest over your absence are the same ones who never respected your presence. They called me just a cleaner, but I cleaned house, and this time, I'm never sweeping someone else's mess under my own feet again.